Happy Thursday. How is everybody doing? For some reason, I feel worse than yesterday. But we gonna push through. We gonna push through. Good morning. I love that everybody's here and discussing and talking. Good morning, Numbers. Good morning, Regina. Good morning, Kim. Good morning, Kayoka. Where is everybody from? Kayoka, you're from New Mexico. Numbers is from Alabama. Kim is from ATL. Listen. The internet has a bunch of problems. But the good thing about it is that we come together from all over the world. And that is amazing to me that y'all are all over and y'all have checked in to just listen a little old me. Y'all know that makes me emotional every time. Good morning. Good morning from Chicago, Dust Love. I knew you was my cousin. I knew you was my cousin. You know they say Detroit and Chicago was cousins. I knew you was my cousin. We're going to be here for a good time, not a long time, because something happened overnight and it whipped me around the other way. I don't know what happened. But we are here. It is Thursday. We are almost to the weekend. The defense has rested in that Adelson trial. And let's see. And I am a bit croaky. I know y'all can hear it. I don't know. Something happened overnight where I just went the other way. I thought I was on the mend. And then overnight I just got more stuffy and just more everything. And it's just, I'm just gonna keep drugging. Can I say that? Y'all know I don't be knowing what I can say on YouTube. I haven't got all the rules down yet. But I'm gonna keep taking all the medicines you can give me. And we gonna get through. The defense rested yesterday, and I've been taking Mucinex Numbers. That's what I was taking. I think I'm immune. Now I think I gotta switch. I think you gotta rotate. I think that's what it is, Quizzical Girl. I think it's very dry, and that's not helping. It's just not good. What? Okay, hold on, you guys. I'm doing multiple things at once. Anywho, okay, so the defense rested yesterday. And I'm trying to figure out what exactly is the defense. I've been saying that since opening statements. I have been saying since opening statements, what is the defense? And now that, they say they rested. We'll see if they reopen today because Donna wasn't really sure whether or not she was going to testify. We're going to talk about that. But they claim to have rested or thinking about resting. And since opening statements, I have been saying, what exactly is your defense? Because it seems to be that the only thing they defended against was her getting on a plane to Vietnam. They did not like that shit. That seems to be, though, like that's the only thing they were really worried about. And I'm still not sure what their defense is. Let's see. They had the character witnesses. They had the Wendy's lawyer. They had the expert lawyer who was just duplicative. And I did not understand why she was there. She was pissing me off. And it basically seemed like the two of them together were just there to prove that the defense was not contentious and the filings that Dan was the pleadings that Dan was filing wasn't even really about anything. But I just feel like y'all had them on the stand for hours and that could have been like 2 questions. And the thing is, sometimes the defense has good points. Sometimes, I mean, it's not going to help her win. Sometimes they have good points, but it's so buried under other stuff that they miss the point. Like The point of those two witnesses was basically to tell you or try to convince the jury that nothing that Dan was doing was worth them trying to have him killed, which may be a good point for the defense, but it's also like, yeah, that wasn't even that deep. Like, it also hurts your defendant to try to prove that nothing that Dan was doing was going to have any smoke or any steam or any teeth to it. She only had one relocation in 30 years, which I'm sure she told Wendy, we can file it, but it's probably not gonna be anything. So their point was to be like, that's not even nothing to make her mad. That's not even nothing to, even want to have him killed. But also that's a point for the prosecution, because it makes it seem like, yeah, it wasn't even that fucking deep. And y'all had this man taken off the earth. Like I've been saying, it's not even that deep. And y'all had to have him. I just don't understand this defense. And it feels like Wendy or Donna is back there running the show. Do you think this divorce was bad? Let me tell you something. I am recently divorced. And my divorce cost me $286. Because that's how much it costs to file a divorce in the state of Michigan. If I had to pay somebody $30,000, I'm going to say the divorce is bad. Now, we might be cordial throughout it. I mean, we might not be arguing. We might be speaking through the attorney, so there's no beef. But if I got to pay somebody $30,000 to leave you, the divorce is contentious. Okay? That's just my opinion, which is why that lawyer expert up there was pissing me off, because like Georgia was saying, like, yeah, you do it every day. Nothing is contentious to you. Nothing is a big deal to you, because these are just regular filings you file every day. But to these people that are going through it, this is deep. This is deep. I gotta pay somebody $30,000. I'm mad. I'm mad. And obviously it was contentious because he didn't want to pay the other half of his settlement. What are you talking about? I don't understand. And this is supposed to be, first of all, let's talk about that expert lawyer. Because just come up there and say that you've been doing this a long time and you know the ins and outs. Because all of those certificates that she was naming, I'm going to tell you right now, as a lawyer, you buy them. You buy them. It's not something somebody picks out of a hat and chooses you as the world's best lawyer. They send me an envelope every day, and if I want to pay them $175, I could go in the magazine too. Like, lady, you're not impressing me. You might impress a lay person, but I just gave y'all some tea. Okay? I just gave y'all some tea y'all might not have known. All of those little accolades she was naming, you pay for. It's not that deep. I could go on every lawyer orderly I want to if I felt like paying for it. I'm not paying it. So that already irritated me. And then as a lawyer, you're supposed to be an advocate for your client. Yes, we sometimes become damn near therapists. So for you to be like, oh, it's not that deep, that will piss your client off. That will piss your client off. If somebody came to you to file their divorce and they got to pay you $30,000, and you, every time you get something that's calling them out their name, you be like, girl, it's really not that deep. That would piss somebody off because it's that deep to me. It's that deep to me. Every time I have to respond to something that he files, I got to pay you. Got to pay you to respond back. This is contentious. And Georgia was like, how do you know? Why? First of all, Georgia is my type of chick. Georgia's my type of chick. Because she said, why do we even care? Georgia said, why do we care what you think? Because why are you here? Why are you here? That's what Georgia wanted to say. Why is you here? The last lady just told us everything we need to know, and she was actually there. Why are you here? Like, get off my stand. I don't have time for this. That's basically what she wanted to say. But yes, I think the divorce was bad. If I got to pay somebody $30,000, if I couldn't get out of my divorce until I paid $30,000, you know that Chris Rock joke. I'm not saying it's right. I'm saying I understand. But then, so we get through her pissing me off, and it does not come off as genuine to a jury, because I guarantee you, none of those jury members up there had to pay $30,000 to get divorced. So when they hear that, even though I think in jury selection they asked anybody if they'd been divorced, and everybody said that it was amicable, I bet you any amount of money, any one of them said $30,000. Yeah, we ain't amicable no more. Because why couldn't you sign the $285 paper and just get this over with? Why is you making me do all of these things? We is in a battle. That's number one. Number two, let's rewind to the beginning of the day. This is why I feel like Donna is over there running her attorneys ragged, and they can't wait to get off this trial. Because at the beginning of the day, when they come in like, oh, we had a police officer or a correctional officer at the jail who we wanted to speak to, and then she said she wouldn't speak to us, and then all of a sudden she's on leave, or whatever the story was. After the sheriff came in there and said, no, she came to us, told us that the defense wanted to talk to her. We talked to our attorney. They said you can talk to them if you want to. If you don't want to, you don't have to unless you get a subpoena. And she said she didn't want to. Did you notice that her attorney said, we won't call this witness. We were going to call him based on some misinformation we got. That misinformation came from Wendy. Donna. I'm going to tell you right now. That misinformation came from Donna. Donna is in there listening to jailhouse gossip. Somebody in the jailhouse told her that, yeah, such and such CO said that she would say blah, blah, blah. Donna runs to her attorneys and be like, such and such CO said. And then when they got to the CO, like, I don't know what you talking about. Leave me out of this. Now they came in court making fools of themselves because the sheriff get up here like, we don't know what you're talking about. We told that lady she had to talk, or she didn't want to. We didn't tell her not. What is you talking about? She's not on leave. Where are you getting this information? This is why I feel like Donna is running those attorneys ragged, and they can't wait to get off of this trial. So then we move through what I felt like is the defense wasting time. I felt like it's the defense wasting time because they knew Donna was going to get up there and act crazy when it was time to decide if she was going to testify. It's my opinion that they were wasting time. They wasted time by sitting there and watching that whole long video of being inside the jail. Who cares? Who cares? You already told us that Donna wrote it. So why are you sitting there making us look at her write it? Like, I was just so confused. There's something in my eye. I was just so confused. You stood up all big bad and full of everything and said we never denied that our client wrote it. So then why are you making us watch her write it? Like, Donna is over there running those people ragged. They can't wait to get rid of her. They cannot wait to get rid of her. They were stalling for time, asking a bunch of unnecessary questions, keeping these lawyers on the stand for way too long, missing their point. Like you're overstepping your point because you're keeping these people on the stand too long. But you should have got in and got out. Hey, you talked to Wendy. You were Wendy's lawyer, right? She wasn't worried about anything that Dan was filing, right? So she would have been telling her mother that none of this stuff really matters. But see, this is why I go flip-flop on Wendy. This is why I flip-flop on Wendy, because remember, I said it dawned on me the other day that I keep forgetting that Wendy is a lawyer herself. So Wendy knew that the stuff that Dan was pleading were filing his pleadings were worthless and weren't going to go anywhere and was bullshit. Yet and still, she would still email her mother like she was very worried about it, like she was very upset with it. Wendy really set herself up to get rid of everybody she couldn't stand and walk away unscathed. And she did it amazingly. She did it amazingly because I 100% believe that Wendy made it seem like she was more distraught about everything that Dan was doing. She made it seem like it was just bothering her so much when she was talking to Donna. But the lawyer on the stand made it seem like, no, Wendy understood that this was not really that big a deal. We were just going to respond. We were going to get our money. Like, Wendy is a background mastermind of all of this shit. But it's going to be very hard if they try to convict her, which is why I think she did this amazingly. I need the steps. Just kidding. I'm just kidding. Wendy did this amazingly. And who knew Wendy had a get her groove back party? What the hell is that? Okay, Wendy, you couldn't wait to get out of that marriage. What is that? What is a get your groove back party? She set this up so magnificently. She plays her family like the doe-eyed dove who just doesn't know anything. She went to law school, but she probably plays like a dunce in front of them. But she set this up like a chess game. She set this up like a chess game, and she made it so you can insinuate and you can even believe wholeheartedly. But there's just enough. You know what it reminds me of? Has anybody seen The Inside Man, the Spike Lee movie with Denzel? It reminds me of the last scene, or one of the last scenes, when Denzel and his partner are sitting there and they're like, even if we believe it's somebody else, we got 2 or 3 people saying it wasn't them. Brilliant. Because you make sure that everybody sees everybody at least once. So when you get an interrogation, it's like, well, it couldn't have been him. He was sitting next to me. But then you move people around so everybody's confused. This is what Wendy was doing. Even if you're very sure, you got a phone call over here from Charlie saying, like, we better not tell Wendy. Then even if you get even more sure, you got a phone call over here with Donna saying, well, it involves the 2 of us. Not all of us, the 2 of us. It's just, Wendy set it up like a chess game, and I need the steps. So step 1, make everybody. Step 1, make everybody mad. Step 2. What's step 2, Wendy? Let me know something. I just feel like she was always sneakily on the outskirts of what's going on. And she said it, and it's so perfect because regardless of what's going on, it seems like they're not going to turn on each other. It seems like she got away with the perfect scheme because their audacity and narcissism won't let them turn on each other, because they cannot ever say that they're guilty, because how would that look? We're good up the good fine Jewish folk. So she knows that neither Charlie or Donna are ever going to be like, yeah, we did it and Wendy was in on it. And that's the only way she gets convicted. The only way she gets charged and convicted is if Wendy or Donna or Charlie say, yes, Wendy knew. But she knows they're not going to do that because it's all about perception for them. It's all about perception. It's like perfect. It's like perfect. Like if she wasn't so evil to take her children's father away, I almost might applaud. I almost might applaud, but it seems evil because even though, people don't like to speak about the dead, but listening to lawyers speak, it seemed like Dan was being a little bit vindictive, being a little bit assholery, just filing stuff, trying to, stretch it along. But that's what people do in divorce. It is what it is. He seemed like he loved his children. Even if he couldn't stand you, Wendy, it seemed like he loves his children, and he seemed like a person that loves his children more than he doesn't like his wife. And I appreciate people like that. I feel like I pride myself on being that way. I cannot stand my older daughter's father, but I love her more than I can't stand him, which means I'm never going to hold her away from him. I'm never going to make any roadblocks in the way of their relationship. I'm not going to do that because I understand that he loves his daughter. I don't got nothing to do with that. I just can't stand you. Me personally. So it seemed like he was a very devoted, very loving father. And for you to decide that you just going to take him out of there because you want to move, if it wasn't so evil, I might give you a little bit of props. And then sometimes the defense has good points. It's not going to help them win. Absolutely. And then their points aren't even their point. And this is a good quote from Natasha, because and then even their points can go the other way. Like their good points can be used for the other side. And even when they have a great point, it's so lost in minutia that it doesn't even, it's like, what is the point of this? You get so bored that you're like, okay, I know the point, but I know what they're trying to do. I went to law school. I'm wondering if the jury has tuned out by the 20th minute of nonsense where they missed your point. Thank you for the super chat, Potato. So I'm not sure what the defense is. It seems like they only defended against her getting on a plane to Vietnam. That's the only clear defense they put on. And it's like, yeah, but that's at the end. What about the rest of it? Like, that just shows her consciousness of guilt. And even if they believe everything about the trip to Vietnam, so what? What about the rest of it? But also, did you notice that Donna's lawyer, okay, now maybe I do watch this trial while I'm working, so I miss points, and sometimes I interpose them sometimes. But the defense called Wendy's lawyer, or Donna's lawyer, on the stand, basically to say that I told her she could travel because they told me she didn't have a warrant. Okay, stop at that point. Because were you under the impression? Now, is it me? I be listening and working and doing. Were you under the impression, like I was, that they called that day, or at least that week? I was under the impression that they asked that week after Charlie was convicted, hey, am I under a warrant? I was under the impression they called that week. That lady said this was well before Charlie was convicted. Don't you think the circumstances may change after he's convicted, after we know that we have enough to convict him? I feel like that was the defense shooting themselves in the foot, because you asked that question, by the way. The defense asked that question, and it didn't need to be asked. You could have just said, did you tell her she could travel? Yes. Okay, thank you. No further questions. Because I feel like y'all have been insinuating this whole time that she asked that day, am I still, or at least after he was convicted. I don't know if it was that day, but the defense was insinuating that they asked after Charlie was convicted whether she could travel. Now, I don't know if they said it verbatim, but they definitely insinuated. And then y'all get her up on the stand and ask her when she said that they could travel, and you let her say out of her mouth, oh, it was before Charlie was convicted. I just don't understand. I just don't understand. It's like they have good points and then they sweep them out of the way. Like, what? I don't understand what the defense is. Only thing, okay, number. So I wasn't correct. Like, y'all definitely insinuated that she asked after, all the while threatening suicide, knowing she wasn't going to, she just wanted somebody to feel sorry for her. This seems like a whole manipulative family. This seems like a whole manipulative family. Do you remember? I love my go to sleep show is Everybody Loves Raymond. That's the show I need to put on to go to sleep because I need a TV on to go to sleep. And every time they would do something to Marie that she didn't like, she would get the limping. Trying to act all frail. That's what Donna gives me. Donna was never going to harm herself. She just wanted the sympathy of. She just wanted everybody to be on her side. And Wendy knew to get the hell on. Now, that brings us to whether or not Donna is going to testify. And I need to show y'all my notebook because I was working and I was listening. And let me show you when they kept on needing 5 minutes and 10 minutes and didn't you have enough time. Let me show you what I put. Look what I put. Can y'all see that? That's what I put. Audacity. That's what I put in my notebook while we was waiting on her to decide. Audacity. Because that is what that lady has. She has it by the barrels. I don't know if they sell it on Amazon, but give me some. Give me some of the audacity that you have. You have had damn near 2 years. All of pretrial, all of trial, every break, all day, 3-day weekends, and then you still say, I don't know. No, it's the audit. Do you think we about to sit here and wait on you? Who do you think you are? I love that the judge said you got all the same rights and time that any other defendant has. The thing is, she doesn't see herself as any other defendant. Donna thinks the audacity is deeply, deeply embedded in her DNA, where she feels like this is like, I got all the time in the world. I can decide. Let me think about it. I still need some time to think. How much time do you think you have? How much time do you think you have? Now, someone asked me yesterday, after her display of audacity, whether or not that would be an area for appeal. Possibly. I don't think it'll be granted though, because of how much time she had to think, how much trial she had. You don't get to wait until after all the witnesses are done and then start thinking about whether or not you're going to testify. That's not how that works. That's not how any of this works. However, with the judge saying, I'm not speaking to myself, we're falling into contempt territory or whatever he said, I guess if you want to, if you have the audacity, you could probably argue that she didn't decide willingly. Maybe she could say she was coerced because it was just, I think it will fail. But I guess if you have the audacity to file that motion for appeal, I guess you could. I was just so annoyed with her. Like, it wasn't exciting. It wasn't, I was just so annoyed with her. Like, girl, you don't want to get up there and look dumb like your son. And you don't have anything good to say. The answer should have always been no. First of all, the answer should have always been no, I'm not going to testify. And if you ask me, the answer was always she's not going to testify. She just likes to be in control, which is why this whole time the defense has been insinuating, and filing motions on the fact that she was going to testify, just for her to get up and be like, oh, I'm not going to do it. I don't think she ever was going to do it. I think she just wants to feel like I am in control of everything that's going on in here, and y'all are going to wait. They can reopen their case and have her testify. It's very rare, but they can definitely do it. But then that opens up a whole other can of worms, because Georgia said yesterday it depends on who else testifies, and I think she meant it depends on if Wendy testifies. Donna testifies, whether or not they're going to have a rebuttal case. But girl, shut up. What can you say? I don't even know what your defense is. I don't even know what your defense to this whole thing is, because it doesn't seem like your defense is one. It seems like you're teetering. It seems like she's teetering on, I had no idea ever, and I found out later. And it's like, well, if I don't understand which one it is, you're going to jail. You're going to jail. Suck it up, buttercup. I guess I'll see you next lifetime. Because you're going to jail. The only question is how long they going to deliberate. I say 2 hours. And that's just to make it seem like they was doing something. You going to jail. Take it like it is. Tell them to put some money on your books. Is Harvey still practicing? I don't know. Go there with you. Go in with your son that you love so much. And the fact that Wendy is just outside really does aggravate me. It really does aggravate the hell out of me. Because I didn't know Dan at all. He may have been the biggest asshole you can imagine. He still didn't deserve that. And the fact that I wholeheartedly believe, and I don't think anybody can talk me out of my belief, I wholeheartedly believe that Wendy knew what was going on. Wendy knew what was going to happen, and she set the play from there to isolate herself in just enough so that she's not implicated. And the fact that she's just walking around with everything she wants aggravates the shit out of me. Aggravates the hell out of me. And even now, I feel like once Donna is convicted, even if they decide to flip on Wendy, she knows that it's too late now. She knows that if they decide to finally say that Wendy's involved, who's going to believe them? Who's going to believe them? There's a 50-50 chance that Wendy gets in front of a jury and her mother and her brother testifies against her, and that jury be like, no, y'all just mad. Y'all just mad. She's still outside. And that bothers me because her sons are now, they have to be teenagers now, right? What do they think? What do they think? I want to know. It really aggravates me that Dan's family doesn't have access to those boys. That aggravates me. Like, damn, bitch. You already had my son unalived in the coldest way possible. The least you could do is let my grandkids visit. Bubble-eyed whore. I would be so mad if I was Dan's parents. Like, how dare you? Because at the end of the day, they're the true they're like one of the true victims in here. Besides the kids, they are really the true victims in here. They have watched this lady come into their son's life. She's said out of her own mouth that she never really liked him. It was the worst day of her life or some raggedy shit she said like that. You come into my son's life, give him 2 babies, divorce him, take his baby, try to take his babies away, have him unalived, and then change their name so they don't even have any remnants of their father. Change their names, moves to Texas, and then his parents all the way in Canada. You move to the farthest state away. And now I have to listen to how your brother and your mother plotted to have my son brutally executed. And you don't even let me see my grandkids. I know they like, okay, all right. How many? They about to see how many. They about to see how many years. They about to see how many years Donna got. They like, how long? You think we can do it? 1 second, guys. Somebody is chirting me on. Okay, never mind. So I was chatting me at work, and I'm not even logged in yet. They're about to see how long Donna get, and they're gonna be like, we about 72. We only got about, what we got? Maybe 12 more years if we lucky. I can do 12 years. Wendy better watch her back. Wendy better watch her back, because Dan's parents like, I can do 10 more years. I can do 10 years. It's nothing. I've lived a good life. Wendy better watch her back, because that is so mean. That is so mean. It's like a level of mean. I don't even, and listen, I'm a Scorpio. So I can get mean. Okay, I can get mean. I can cut you down, honey. I can get very mean. But that is a level of mean that she's currently engaging in with Dan's parents that I don't think I could do. Which makes me even more convinced that she had something to do with it. Because if you had nothing to do with it, I don't care. That man didn't beat her. That man didn't abuse her. You just didn't love him. You just didn't love him in that way. But he still gave you 2 children. If you really had nothing to do with it, the fact that he was brutally executed would bother you so much. And you would feel so bad that it was your family that did it, that you would absolutely grant access to his parents. Because that would be your only way to apologize for taking their son from them. This is why I believe she absolutely knew, she absolutely wanted, and she couldn't wait. She couldn't wait. And she was probably mad at how long it took the police to catch her. And she probably mad at how long it took the police to catch on. Because that right there is why I believe Wendy absolutely had a hand in it. She knew what was going on. She intended it. And she snatched those boys up and ran to Texas. And is probably down there filling their brain with all type of ridiculousness. It's just mean. It's just mean. Wendy, I'm telling you, if it wasn't so evil and if it wasn't so mean, I might applaud. Now, we got closings today, I believe, unless they reopen their case. I don't think they will. If they have gotten through to Donna at all, they will say, please, 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 shut up. And so they will actually rest their case. And then what does their closing sound like? I think in the closing, we will finally understand what their defense. Hopefully in closing, we will finally understand what their defense is. Because I am still not sure. I'm sure what their defense is as far as going to Vietnam. She wasn't going to stay. It was cheaper to buy a one-way ticket. They told her she could travel. She just needed a vacation. I got that defense. I'm not sure what the defense is to the other part. So I want to know what they're going to say. Because I'm not even sure what the witnesses they put on, what they were trying to prove. They were trying to prove with the character witnesses. She was very upset when he died. She didn't seem like she hated him. Okay. And then we had the lawyer. Then we had that weird real estate agent that I don't know for what. Then we had the tech expert that said maybe they didn't talk as much as they looked like they talked, and I don't understand what that was for. And then we had the lawyers to say, oh, yeah, he was filing stuff, but it wasn't that deep. Okay. I'm lost. I'm lost. I'm very lost. I don't know what the defense is. Because if your defense is she wasn't even that mad, that makes it worse for you. I don't know if they understand that. If your defense is she wasn't that mad, it wasn't even that big a deal, I think that makes it worse for you. Because it sounds like if you did that and it wasn't that big a deal, what if it really was contentious? The way that y'all won't even acknowledge that this was a contentious divorce. If it was contentious, y'all probably would have chopped them up and threw them in the lake. That's not a good defense. I don't know what the defense is. I'm hoping that we'll find out in closing. Girl, geniality. I told y'all y'all have watched enough trials. Y'all have sat through enough objections. Y'all have sat through enough pleadings. Y'all have done enough lawyering through YouTube to do a better job than that plaintiff attorney in the Cardi B case. If you want pure comedy, if you want to test your legal acumen, I implore you to go watch the closing arguments of the Cardi B case. When I say I was like, somebody look up what law school he went to. I need to know. I need to know right now. I need to know how many times he took the bar. I need to know this. Listen, Regina, do you hear me? I need to know. I need to know how many times he took the bar. I need to know how many other cases he's practiced, because maybe it's his first one, and then I'm going to give him grace. If it's his first one, I'm going to be like, okay, you make some missteps on your first one. You go a little too far. You don't know what you can do. You don't know your style yet. If it's his first case, I'm going to let him have it. If it's any more than the first one, I'm going to need him investigated. Because that was quite possibly the worst closing argument I have ever heard in my life. The Cardi B's attorneys were objecting so much. First of all, people don't object during your closing. They let you go off. They let you get your shit off. Because I want you to let me get my shit off too. They were objecting so much. Like at some point, you gotta go, okay. All right, now. My mom you get shit off, but you ain't gonna go crazy. It's like he didn't understand. If you want to laugh, if you want to test your legal acumen, if you want to be like, what the hell? I implore you to go watch the closing arguments in Cardi B's case. Of course, she won that case because it was a ridiculous case. But she had to pay for it. She had to pay lawyers. She had to pay experts. She had to pay. It's just so annoying. It's just so annoying. And she paid because I'd rather pay my lawyers $300,000 than pay you a cent for bringing me in here for ridiculousness. And people file frivolous lawsuits for that exact fact. They file frivolous lawsuits against celebrities for that particular fact because they feel like, okay, if I sue him for $50,000, maybe he'll just settle and pay me so that he doesn't have to pay his lawyer $150,000. And some celebrities will do it, but then what happens when you settle? You automatically become guilty. Depending on what you're suing me for, a lot of celebrities are like, no, I'm not going to do it. I would rather pay the $150,000 than pay you the $50,000 because if I settle to this, everybody's going to believe that I did whatever you're accusing me of. 24 million was a stretch. 24 million was outrageous, but I bet you if she had sued for a cool 75,000. If she had sued for a cool 75,000, Cardi might have been like, you know what? Give it to her and make her get out of my face. I don't know. 24 million is insane. Insane for a scratch we can't see. You can't see. I'm looking at you. You talking about the doctor said it might take a year to heal, but I can see you right now. I don't need you to tell me what the doctor said. I can look at you on the stand and see that I don't see no scratch on your face. Like, what are we doing? But if you want comedy in the courtroom, go ahead and watch the Cardi B closing. All right, we're going to watch Donna Adelson's closings today. And I am interested. Because I still, right now, sitting here, they're going into closing arguments, do not know what Donna's defense is. I can't help you. Maybe smarter lawyers than me can tell you exactly what the defense is. I don't know. So hopefully, during the closings today, we figure it out. I'm going to go take some more medicine because I can feel the congestion coming. I've been taking allergy medicine, but maybe I'm actually getting a cold because the allergy medicine doesn't feel like it's working. But then when I take like Tylenol, severe cold and flu, I don't know if that's working or if it just knocks me out. I can't tell. I can't tell. Maybe I think it's working, but it's not really working. I just be knocked out. I don't know. I'm going to mix them all together and take all of them. Hopefully I'll see y'all tomorrow. If not, it's probably because I'm still asleep. Exactly. I think that's what it is, that stuff. As soon as I say my nose is so stuffed up, I feel like it gets stuffier. Maybe it's mind over matter. It's mind over matter. Okay. I'm not sick. I can breathe. Maybe it take a minute. I will see y'all tomorrow. Let's see what these closings got to say. I hope y'all take care of yourselves and each other. Thanks again, Potato, for the super chat. I really appreciate you guys for checking in with me every morning. We will see you tomorrow. Bye.